Okay, so tonight we're going to graph linear equations using slope-intercept form. You've already graphed them with a table of values, and you've graphed them with intercepts. This is probably the most common way that you will graph a linear equation, is from slope-intercept form. This is the one that you'll be the most used to. You've probably seen this equation before, y equals mx plus b. Y is your dependent variable and x is your independent variable. It's just a normal y and x. It's just an ordered pair. That's how it's always been. But technically, x is considered your independent variable and y is considered your dependent variable. That's not something you have to worry about right now, though. What your main concern is the new stuff, the m. M is your slope. That's what you're going to move. That's how you're going to get from one point to the next. Okay, and that's what makes it a straight line, is that your slope is consistent between each of the points. Your y-intercept is the point where you begin. So that's going to be your beginning point. That's your starting point on your graph. It tells you where it crosses the y-axis. And if you remember, on the y-axis, your x is 0. And then whatever this number is, that's where you would start on your y-axis, your beginning point. So think M, move, B, begin. So when I look at my first equation, if I wrote y equals mx plus b above it, you can see that 2 would be my slope. But if you remember, slope was rise over run. It was a fraction. So when I'm talking about this 2, I need to turn my whole number 2 into a fraction, and the way to do that would be to put it over 1, because 2 divided by 1 is 2. I haven't changed it. It's the same thing. Also, if you remember when you're doing slope, that slope, if it's positive, that tells you whether you're going to go up or down, and then you always run to the right. So up and right. Okay, but that's not the point that we're starting at. Remember, B is my beginning point. So this tells me this is my y-intercept. And remember, y-intercept's a point that sits on your y-axis. And if I wanted to sit on my y-axis, then x would have to be 0. So it's going to be at the point 0, 4, x, y. So this is going to be my starting point. I'm going to count up from the origin 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my starting point, my begin. From that point, I'm going to count up to, I'm going to move my slope. Up to, right 1, plot. Up to, right 1, plot. And you don't have to make, remember from x and y intercepts, you only have to make 2 points. But I like to make extra just because I'm not very good at drawing a straight line. So what I did to get from one point to the next was up to, right 1, but let's say, see here, I'm running out of room on my graph. So what I would actually do is I could do the opposite. Instead of going up and to the right, I could go down to left 1, and then you can see that that continues to make a straight line. And then you're going to take a ruler or some sort of straight edge or whatever you have, and you're going to draw a straight line between all of those points, all the way down. And there you have graphed your line. Okay, let's try the next example. Same concept. We're going to look for B, our beginning point. So B is right here. That's my beginning point, positive 3. So my y-intercept, remember my x value was 0. My y value would be 3 in this case. So I would start up at positive 3. 1, 2, 3. This is my begin. B, begin. M. M is the slope. That's how I'm going to move. So I'm going to move negative 1 over 5. So M equals, remember that's rise over run, and it's negative 1/5. Remember, negative means I'm going to go down 1. And then I'm going to go to the right, always run to the right 5. So from that point, from my beginning point, from B, I'm going to go down 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and plot my point. And then I can go ahead and make another one. I ran out of room, so if I wanted more points, I could do the opposite. So instead of going down and to the right, I would go up 1, left 5. And that's going to continue my straight line. And then you're just going to draw a line between all your points. And that is your answer. Last one. This one's a little bit different. I don't have a slope. So y equals -3 is technically the same thing as y equals 0x minus 3 because I don't have an x. So my beginning point is still -3. So my y-intercept is 0, -3. So instead of starting up this time, I'm going down because it was negative. Down 1, 2, 3. And then my slope tells me how to move. And it's rise over run. And this is a 0. Remember, to turn a whole number into a fraction, you can put it over 1. 0 divided by 1 is the same thing. It's still 0. 0 divided by 1 would tell me up 0, right 1. So from that point, if I went up 0, right 1, it would go this way. And if I wanted to do the opposite, it would go this way. So if I drew my line this time, it looks a little different. It's a horizontal line. And this should make sense because if I picked any 2 points on the graph, for example, let's pick this one. This is the point -8, -3. My x value is -8, my y value is -3. Okay, so let's pick another point just to see. This is the point 4, -3. So notice, there was my y-intercept, 0, -3. Notice what all my y values are in every single one of these problems. Well, it told me in the beginning y is -3. So that's one way. If you can't remember how to graph something weird like this, you can always make up a bunch of ordered pairs and see which way the line's going. But notice, my y is -3, -3, -3, everywhere on that line. So that's why the line is called y equals -3.